Can we introduce ourselves before we begin? Hello? Shalom. Let us introduce ourselves. Okay, today we are going to look at the origin of man. And I think we have ever had this interaction when we are still at school. And we need to know, how did man come into existence? Where did we originate from? So this is going to be our interaction today. So when we talk about the origin of man, you're going to see that after studying this topic, we should be able to debate and compare the origin and development of man from tradition, religious, scientific point of view. And we are going to see that when we look at the traditional theory about the origin of man, these theories, they vary from tribe to tribe. And as you can see, that at least each tribe or each religion or each tradition, it has its origin. For example, when we look at the Baganda, they claim to have originated from the legend called Chintu and Nambi. Have we ever heard about that story about Chintu and Nambi? Yes?
Yes.
Can somebody give us a brief story about that story? Yes, please. Can we get somebody to give us a story about Chintu and Nambi from Buganda? Remember, we are looking at the origin of man, and we have said that each tradition, it has a different perspective about the origin of man. So let us get somebody to give us a brief story about that story of Chintu and Nambi. Aturinde Isaac. Isaac?
Yes, I'm here. So
Can you tell us that story about the origin of man?
long ago, there lived Chintu, was the first Muganda, and Nambi was the daughter of Gulu. So there is a time when Nambi was moving, loitering around Earth, and saw Nambi. And he saw Chintu. Then when he saw Chintu, he requested Gulu. He requested her father Gulu to marry Chintu. And wanted to see what Chintu looked like. That's hence the name Chintu. So when they got married, they first gave Chintu a series of tests. And then when he passed all of them, he was able to marry Nambi. So when they married Nambi, Walumbe started killing their children. But it's like that. They proceeded and they had more children. And Walumbe he fell in a hole in Tanda, I think. That's the end.
Hey. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Esther. Esther?
Yes, please, teacher.
Yes. Can you tell us what you know about the story of Nambi and Chintu from Buganda? Have you heard of that story?
Yes.
Mm.
What I know is Chintu used to live on Earth, and he had his cow which used to give him food. He used to eat its dung and drink its urine. And one day when Nambi and her brother came on Earth to get some fruit, they saw him and they took him to heaven, and he saw other people. Then Chintu wanted to marry Nambi, so they gave him tests and he passed them, and then he got married to Nambi. Then another brother of Nambi used to disturb them and kill their children. And then one time he fell in a hole and he never came back. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Now, just like our colleagues have told us, we see that it is claimed that Nambi and Chintu of Buganda Kingdom married and produced many of the current clans in the Buganda Kingdom. And we also see that in Kenya, the Kikuyu claim to have originated from Gikuyu. Among the Kikuyu, they believe that Gikuyu and his wife produced 9 children that also married and produced the current big clan in Kenya. So we have been looking at the traditional theory about the origin of man. We have seen that in Uganda. I've talked about that in Kenya, that these so-called the so-called Kenyans, they believe that the Kikuyu clan, it originated from Gikuyu. That Gikuyu and his wife produced 9 children that also married and produced the current Kikuyu clan. I want us to go to the religious theory about the origin of man. And we see that when we go to the religious theory about the origin of man, different accounts have been used in religions worldwide, as they all speak of the connection between the world of humans and divine dimensions of a supreme God, whom they originated from. We see in Islam, Orthodox, and the Christian Revelation, among others, they believe and support the theory of human beings being created in the image and likeness of God. So we see that the sense of their dignity is further developed in the New Testament and even in the Old Testament. Do we have anybody who is having a Bible just next to you? Anybody who is having a Bible? Yes, Kylie. Can you go to the book of Genesis and read for us the first creation story? Kylie? Hello, Kylie?
Yes.
Do you have a Bible with you?
Yes.
Yes, can you go to the Bible? Go to Genesis, the book of Genesis, chapter chapter 1, verse 26. Then read for us what is there.
And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have
Kaidi, unmute your microphone. We're not getting you.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes, we can hear you.
I said, and God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." That's all.
Okay. Can you read for us Genesis chapter 2? Genesis chapter 2, verse
Yes.
verse 18. Genesis chapter 2, verse 18.
And the Lord God said, "It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him I'll make him a helper."
Hello, Kylie?
Yes? Did you hear me?
No. It is Genesis chapter 2, verse 7.
Oh, verse 7.
Yes, verse 7.
And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostril the breath of life, and man became a living soul.
Yes, continue.
And the Lord
Kylie?
God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed.
Okay, you can stop there. Now, as you heard Kylie, we see that when you go to the religious theory about the origin of man, in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, we see that God was just commanding, "Let there be," as he has said that. Then God said, "And now we'll make human beings. They'll be like us and resemble us. They will have power over the fish, the birds, and all animals, domestic and wild, large and small." But when you go to the book of Genesis, still chapter 2, we see that whatever God was doing this time around, it was physical. So we see that then God, the Lord, took some soil from the ground and he formed man. So that is the religious theory about the origin of man. But we see that we also have the scientific view about the origin of man. But before we look at the scientific view, I want us to watch this video, and then after we shall get some questions. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm organizing for you a video that we are going to watch. Then after, we continue. But as I'm organizing the video, hello?
Yes.
As I'm organizing the video, can you give me some of the similarities and differences between
Pardon?
the first story in Genesis chapter 2, similarities and differences between the first story in the Bible and then the second story about the origin of man? Yes. Esther, can you give us the similarities that you're seeing between the first story and the second story? Esther? Aturinda? Are you there, you people?
Yes, we are.
Yes, Aturinda.
Yes.
Is there any similarity between the first story and the second story? Yes. This video. Hello?
Yes.
Have you been hearing?
No.
No, teacher.
Yep.
Not at all.
Not at all.
We didn't hear
Yeah.
anything.
Okay. So we are going to continue, but I'll forward this video clip in your group. Then you watch, then I'll give you an assignment about that clip. Okay?
Okay.
Yes. I'm going to forward that clip into your group. Okay. Do we have where to note? Yes?
Yes.
Let us take note of that activity. Basing on the above story, show the relationship between religion and history. Then referring to the above myth, how do you think sin came into the world? Then activity 3, how significant is the story of Adam and Eve in the creation of humankind? Are we noting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
When you are done noting, you tell me, and we continue. Are we done?
Yes.
Okay. I want us to look at the scientific theory about the origin of man. Are we there?
Yes.
I want to look at the scientific theory about the origin of man. Aturinda, can you tell
Yes.
us your view about the scientific theory about the origin of man? Aturinda?
Man just kept reproducing until he filled the earth.
Christabel, can you give us your view? Christabel, unmute your microphone and then you talk to us. Esther?
Sorry, teacher, I did not get the question very.
Yes, please. Yes, Christabel.
Teacher, I did not get the question very well. I said that I didn't get the question very well.
Okay, I was saying.
Please repeat for me.
Okay, I was saying. We have seen the traditional view or the traditional theory about the origin of man. We have also seen the religious theory about the origin of man. And right now, we want to look at the scientific theory about the origin of man. And the question was, can you tell us your view about the scientific theory about the origin of man? Christabel, your view about the scientific theory about the origin of man. Christabel, unmute your microphone.
Yes, teacher. Teacher, I'm still thinking.
Okay. Esther? Esther? Esther, unmute your microphone. You talk to us. Kylie?
I'm still thinking, teacher.
Okay. Laura, you have been so quiet. Laura, you have been so quiet. Talk to us. Sharon? Sharon?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, Laura and Sharon, you have been too quiet. We need to hear your view about the scientific theory.
I'm still thinking.
As you're overthinking.
I think scientific evidence shows that the physical behavior and behavioral traits shared by all people originated from ape-like ancestors and evolved over a period of approximately 6 million years. One of the earliest defining human traits, bipedalism, the ability to walk on two legs, evolved over 4 million years ago.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Maybe to add on, we see that the most reliable among the scientific theories of creation is Charles Darwin's theory. We see that it is widely known as Darwinism. This is a theory of biological evolution developed by the English so-called Charles Darwin in 1809 up to 1882. And also by others. It states that all species of organisms arise and develop through the natural selection of small inherited variations that increase in individuals' abilities to compete, survive, and reproduce. We see that according to Charles Darwin, all life came from one or a few kinds of simple organisms. New species arise gradually from pre-existing species. And we see that the result of competition among the species is extinction of the less fit. That's how apes came about, and the fitness of their organisms resulted in the creation of the today's monkey, chimpanzees, and human beings. As life evolves, the number of the above individual species increase worldwide. And we also see that as they reproduce, their population grow, but their organisms tend to remain the same size and in their permanent nature. Only the fittest survive, and those that survive reproduce many other species in the form of today's monkeys, chimpanzees, and the human race. How together, you people? Are you there? Are you there? Talk to me, unmute your microphones.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
teacher.
Yes, we are.
We are here.
Yes.
So, like I've said, when we talk about the scientific theory about the origin of man, we so much talk about this man who was called Charles Darwin, with his theory, the Darwinism theory, survival for the fittest. All together. Hello? Are we there? Are we there?
Yes, teacher.
Okay.
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
Here we are.
Okay. I may pose a question. I'm going to get answers from each and everybody who is in class. Look at yourself or someone next to you and identify the bodily features that are similar to those of apes. I repeat, look at yourself or someone next to you and identify the bodily features that are similar to those of apes. Have you heard the question?
Yes.
Look
Yes.
at yourself or someone next to you and identify the bodily features that are similar to those of apes. I'm starting with Aturinda.
The palms.
The
palm.
The palm.
Yes.
Okay, Christabel. Yes.
Teacher, the legs.
The legs. What's wrong with the legs? Elaborate more.
Teacher, their legs are like for humans.
They're like for humans. Sharon,
The hair.
the hair.
Yes.
What's wrong with the hair?
See, they're like the human's hair on the head.
Mm. Also, the chimpanzees, they have the hair.
Yes.
Esther,
The ears.
the ears.
Yes.
Okay. Laura,
The bones.
the
Bones.
bones.
Yes.
I think that is weak. Thank you. Can you give us another one?
Teacher,
Mm.
teacher,
Yes,
what about
Christabel.
their behaviors? The behaviors,
Mm.
like this one, like the human beings take care of their babies. Also, apes take care of their babies as human beings. Also, there are things that human beings eat and also apes eat.
Mm.
And also, like the way they defend themselves is like human beings.
Mm.
Yes, thank you.
What about when you look at the nature? The endoskeleton of the apes and that of the human beings. Sharon. Yes, Kylie, your hand is up. Kylie?
Yes, I was saying I wanted to say the skull.
The skull.
Yes.
Okay. Another question. What makes man different from animals? What makes man different from animals? What makes man different from animals? Aturinde, Isaac.
Man has a high IQ.
Yes. Christabel. Christabel.
Teacher, man stands upright while other animals they bend down.
Yes, Esther. Esther, unmute your microphone to talk to us. Kylie?
Yes.
Tell us, what makes man different from animals?
Well, I think it's someone already mentioned this, but the IQ.
Laura?
And teacher, I'm still adding on.
Okay, you are done.
Yes, and the fact that we do not really depend on instinct much.
Okay. Sharon. Sharon. Sharon, talk to us. Sharon, talk to us. Sharon. Unmute your microphone.
Teacher, animals behave wildly while man behaves not that widely like the way animals do.
Okay. Now that is going to be your assignment. You add this activity to the other first one. look at yourself or someone next to you and identify the bodily features that are similar to those of apes, and also what makes man different from animals, what makes man different from animals. Have we noted those other two questions? Yes. Yes, please, talk to me.
Yes.
So when we are beginning our topic, remember we said that after studying this topic, we should be able to debate and compare the origin and development of man from traditional, religious, and even the scientific point of view. So can Kaili remind us the traditional theory about the origin of man? What did you pick from the traditional theory according to what we have discussed? Traditional theory about the origin of man. Kaili.
Yes, I think the traditional theory about the origin of is evolution.
No, it is not evolution. Remember we said, Kaili, are you listening?
Yes.
We said that these theories, they vary from tribe to tribe. And I remember saying that at least each tribe, it has its tradition and origin. We talked about the Baganda. They claim to have originated from the legend Kintu and Nambi. It is claimed that Nambi and Kintu of Buganda kingdom married and produced many of the current clans in Buganda kingdom. I also talked about that in Kenya, the Kikuyu claim to have originated from Gikuyu. Among the Kikuyu, they believe that Gikuyu and his wife produced 9 children and also married and produced the current big Kikuyu clan. I remember that's what I talked about when we talk about the traditional theory about the origin of man. Then we went to the religious theory, and we said that when we talk about the religious theory about the origin of man, I said that different accounts have been used in religions worldwide, and they all speak of the connection between the world and the humans. And I remember we went into the Bible and we saw that we have 2 creation stories in the Bible. We have the first creation story, that is Genesis chapter 1. And when we go to Genesis chapter 1, when we are talking about the origin of man, we go to Genesis 1, verse 26, where God said that let us make human beings, they will be like us. And we have the second creation story, the book of Genesis still, chapter 2, verse 7. Then the Lord God took some soil from the ground and formed man. So when we talk about the religious theory, for instance, when you go to the Christian revelation, it talks about God saying, let us create human beings. The second creation story, it is saying that then God took some soil. So we see some differences between the 2 stories. The first one, God is just commanding, let us do this. The second, whatever God was doing, it was physical. He got some soil and then he formed man. Then after, went to the scientific theory about the origin of man. And this theory, we said that it talks about It talks about Charles Darwin with his Darwinism theory. This theory of biological evolution developed from the it states that all species of organisms arise and develop through the natural selection of small species. And we see that as life evolves, a number of the species increase worldwide. They reproduce their population, but their organisms tend to remain the same size and their permanent nature. Only the fittest survive, and those that survive reproduce many other species in form of today's monkeys, chimpanzees, and human race. All together. Are we there? Are we there?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we try to see the differences between the traditional, the scientific, and even the traditional, scientific, and then what? Which other one? Yes, yes. Are you following, you people?
Yes.
Which other one?
Yes. Scientific.
Which other theory? Traditional, religious, and even scientific. Yes. So I request we are going to do that activity that I've given you. Then you inbox me. I'm going to post whatever we have discussed, and even the other video clip that you are talking about that you didn't hear the audio. Then you inbox me to give me your answers. All together.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So once again, I thank you for being active, all of you. I thank you, Atorinde, Esther, Kylie, Laura, Sharon.
I'm gonna send you something. So
Yes, is there anybody who has a question before we summarize the lesson?
Thank you for the lesson, teacher.
Any question? Any question?
teacher, when are we handing in the work for marking?
You're supposed to do that work today. By tomorrow, you should have handed in.
Okay.
Thanks
for the lesson, teacher.
Okay, you're welcome. Have a